Remember when food was the guest of honor at the dinner table? When the aroma of a home-cooked meal brought everyone together, and the conversation flowed as freely as the wine? These days, it seems our phones have staged a coup, demanding the first bite of our attention. The once sacred mealtime ritual has been hijacked by the incessant need to stay connected. We've all seen it, the telltale glow of a smartphone illuminating someone's face mid-meal, oblivious to the company and conversation around them. It's a scene that's become all too familiar in our digitally dominated lives. This phone eats first phenomenon isn't just a quirky observation, it's a symptom of our digitally driven world, where connectivity often trumps courtesy. The art of conversation is slowly being replaced by the tap of a screen. While snapping a quick pic of your plate might seem harmless, it sends a clear message to your dining companions. My phone is more interesting than you. This small act can create a ripple effect, making others feel undervalued and ignored. This digital intrusion can derail conversations, stifle laughter, and leave everyone feeling a little less connected. The warmth and camaraderie that should define a meal are often replaced by a cold, impersonal silence. It's the antithesis of what mealtimes should be, a time for shared stories, laughter, and genuine human interaction. The joy of breaking bread together is lost in the glow of our screens. But the downsides of phone use at the dinner table extend far beyond social faux pas. The impact on our relationships is just the tip of the iceberg. As we'll see, our trusty devices are teeming with microscopic hitchhikers that pose a real threat to our health. These unseen invaders can easily transfer from our screens to our hands and ultimately to our food. So next time you sit down for a meal, consider leaving your phone aside, not just for the sake of etiquette, but for your health and the quality of your connections. Let's face it, our phones are practically extensions of ourselves. We rely on them for everything, from checking emails and social media to navigating our daily lives. We take them everywhere. The gym, the bathroom, you know who you are. And yes, even the dinner table. They are our constant companions, always within arm's reach. But here's the rub, our phones are also veritable petri dishes, teeming with bacteria. Studies have shown that they can harbor more germs than a toilet seat. Dr. Gareth Nye, a researcher specializing in maternal and fetal health, has sounded the alarm on the surprising levels of bacteria found on smartphones. His research highlights the unseen dangers lurking on our devices. Phones are perfect carriers for bacteria, he explains, picking them up from our hands, bags, and any surface they touch. Every swipe, tap, and touch transfers germs. Think about it. We touch our phones constantly throughout the day, often after touching door handles, keyboards, and other germ hotspots. Each interaction is an opportunity for contamination. All those invisible microbes hitch a ride on our fingertips, eventually finding a happy home on our phone screens. It's a never-ending cycle of germ transfer. And where do our phones end up? Often right next to our plates, forks, and, you guessed it, our food. This habit is more common than we might think. This proximity creates a germ highway, allowing bacteria to easily hop from our phones to our food and ultimately into our bodies. It's a direct route for germs to enter our system, posing potential health risks. Imagine this. You're scrolling through social media while waiting for your food to arrive. It's a common scene, right? You're hungry, a bit bored, and your phone is your go-to companion. You absent-mindedly lick your finger to swipe to the next post, completely unaware that you've just transferred a colony of bacteria from your phone to your mouth. It's a tiny, almost invisible action, but it has big implications. This scenario, while cringeworthy, is all too common. We often don't realize how much bacteria our phones can harbor and how easily they can transfer to us. Our hands are the primary vehicles for transporting bacteria from our phones to our food. Think about it. We touch our phones constantly, and then we touch everything else. We touch our phones, then we touch our food, and voila, instant contamination. It's a seamless process that happens without us even noticing. But it's not just our hands that facilitate this bacterial exchange. Our phones themselves, with their smooth surfaces and warm temperatures, create ideal breeding grounds for germs. Our phones are like little petri dishes that we carry around everywhere. Every swipe, tap, and scroll deposits a fresh layer of microbes, just waiting for the opportunity to jump ship. And jump they do. Every time we use our phones, we add more bacteria to the mix. It's a never-ending cycle of contamination. Studies have shown that bacteria can survive on phone screens for hours, even days. This means that the germs you picked up from the grocery store checkout could still be lurking on your phone at dinner time, poised to hitch a ride to your digestive system. So next time you pick up your phone, remember, it's not just a device, it's a bacteria express, and every touch, swipe, and tap is a ticket for those germs to travel. Now, let's meet some of the microscopic villains lurking on our phones. This common but potentially nasty bacterium can cause skin infections, food poisoning, and even more serious illnesses. It's often found on our skin and can easily be transferred to our phones. This fecal bacterium can cause severe diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal cramps. It can contaminate our phones through contact with contaminated surfaces or even from flushing the toilet with the lid up. Yes, the flu virus can live on surfaces like phone screens for up to 24 hours. So that quick call to your sick friend could be putting you at risk. These are just a few of the many unwelcome guests that might be crashing your dinner party, courtesy of your smartphone. And while our immune systems are usually up to the task of fending off these invaders, sometimes they can overwhelm our defenses, leading to illness. Don't despair. You don't have to banish your beloved phone from the dinner table entirely, although that's not a bad idea. With a few simple hygiene practices, you can significantly reduce the risk of turning your meal into a microbial free-for-all. First and foremost, wash your hands. This age-old advice is still the gold standard for preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water for at least 20 seconds before eating, after using the bathroom, and after touching your phone. Next, give your phone a regular cleaning. Use disinfectant wipes specifically designed for electronics to wipe down your phone screen, buttons, and case. Avoid using harsh chemicals or abrasive materials, as these can damage your device. Finally, be mindful of where you place your phone. Avoid placing it on the table, especially near food. Instead, keep it tucked away in your pocket or purse, out of harm's way. Section 6. Food Safety Fundamentals: Keeping your plate germ-free. While phone hygiene is crucial, don't forget about basic food safety practices. These measures can further reduce the risk of foodborne illnesses and ensure a safe and enjoyable dining experience. Cook food thoroughly. Heat kills bacteria, so make sure your food is cooked to the recommended internal temperature. Wash fruits and vegetables. Rinse produce thoroughly under running water to remove dirt, bacteria, and pesticide residues. Store food properly. Refrigerate leftovers promptly, and keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold to prevent bacterial growth. By following these simple tips, you can create a sanitary sanctuary for your meals, minimizing the risk of unwanted microbial guests. Section 7. Mindful mealtimes: Reclaiming the dinner table. Beyond the practicalities of hygiene, there's a deeper reason to ditch the devices at dinner time: mindfulness. When we're constantly tethered to our phones, we miss out on the richness of the present moment. Our attention is fragmented, our senses dulled, and our connections with those around us weakened. By choosing to put our phones away during meals, we create space for something truly special: undivided attention. We can savor the flavors of our food, engage in meaningful conversations, and strengthen our bonds with loved ones. This conscious act of disconnecting from technology allows us to reconnect with what truly matters: ourselves, our loved ones, and the simple joy of sharing a meal together. Section 8. The Power of Presence: Engaging in Meaningful Conversations. Remember the last time you had a truly engaging conversation? The kind where you lost track of time, laughed until your sides hurt, and felt a deep sense of connection with the person you were with? Chances are, phones weren't a part of the equation. When we put away our devices and engage in face-to-face conversations, something magical happens. We listen more intently, we respond more thoughtfully, and we create a space for genuine connection to flourish. We pick up on subtle cues like facial expressions, body language, and tone of voice, which are often lost in the digital realm. These nonverbal cues are essential for building empathy and understanding. They allow us to connect on a deeper level and build stronger relationships. By silencing our phones, we amplify the voices of those around us, creating a richer, more meaningful dining experience. Section 9. Dinner table, not data table. Disconnect to reconnect. In our hyper-connected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of constant connectivity. But by making a conscious effort to disconnect from our devices, especially at the dinner table, we can reclaim the lost art of mindful living. Let's transform our dinner tables from data tables back into places of connection, laughter, and shared experiences. Let's savor the flavors of our food, engage in meaningful conversations, and appreciate the company of those around us. So, the next time you sit down for a meal, challenge yourself to put your phone away. You might be surprised by the richness of the experience that unfolds when you disconnect to